Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below.
Greetings once again, Pokemaniacs. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more of the Pokemon Adventures manga, where previously, despite the best efforts of both Buck and Looker, Buck haplessly awakened Heatran, the legendary Pokemon, falling right into the hands of Chiron, who wanted just that. In a moment, Chiron has taken control of Heatran and has unleashed its devastating power upon both Buck and Looker, as the two desperately try to escape. While Platinum does manage to defeat Dahlia in her second Frontier Brain Challenge, which took a bit of a toll on her as she had to fight against her own Pokemon with Dahlia's, Platinum was able to steel herself, and afterwards, as she's taken on Thornton at his battle factory, she's able to use rental Pokemon. Thus, she sends her own Pokemon off to help out Looker and Buck. Elsewhere, the Pokemon Association chairman has personally gotten involved with the goings-on, enlisting the help of the Elite Four to look through Charon's notebook and find out what he's after, specifically all the legendary Pokemon, continuing on with a lot of what the missing Surd was up to. With the gym leader still injured, there's few who can actually investigate this. And thus it's up to Diamond and Pearl, out to protect the legendary Pokemon of Sinnoh from the remaining forces of Team Galactic. But will this be enough? One has already fallen into their hands, and we've seen just how capable they can be, especially with the capture of Dialga, Palkia, as well as the Lake Guardian trio. Not to mention, Surd also had Darkrai at her disposal previously, as well as the information she managed to gain on Deoxys. Team Galactic has shown itself to be very capable, but without its leader, are they still that much so? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, adventure number 90, Uprooting Seedot. Okay, we pick up with Argenta. It is just Argenta, right? Yep, Argenta, Palmer, Riley, and his Lucario, which I can't remember if Riley and his Lucario appeared in the last video, but I know I didn't really put up too many of my favorites then. But you got one of my favorites here, Lucario. While Argenta and Palmer seem to be investigating the comm system's mechanics, Riley and Lucario are trying to detect anything through the power of aura. Argenta says, "There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the actual lines." Palmer ponders, saying, "And it isn't the frequency emitter from Thornton's machine that's causing the interference either." He turns to Riley, saying, "What do you think, Riley? Any ideas what's causing this disruption?" Riley, still trying his best to sense something, says, "I feel a pressurized aura coming from someplace outside the facility. Also, this is similar to what I felt back at the Spear Pillar." Palmer says, "Just as I thought." Meanwhile, over with Platinum, she commands Quillfish to use toxic spikes against Kadabra. Yeah, I thought there was an Alakazam for a second, but I had to see the rest of the body. Not as cool as an Alakazam, sorry. As the toxic spikes rain down, it affects Kadabra greatly. With Kadabra already on the ropes, she has Quillfish use Pin Missile. Oh, wait, he's still commentating? I thought he was just a part of the Battle Arcade, but I guess he's just the general announcer for the Sinnoh Battle Frontier. That's interesting. The announcer says, "Kadabra is out of the battle. Well done. Kadabra was unable to move with poisonous spikes underneath its feet, so it was an easy target." And to top it off, as Seedot is brought out, it immediately steps on the toxic spikes, crying out in pain. The announcer says, "The real scary thing about the move Toxic Spikes is that it stings and poisons the switched Pokemon." And Seedot immediately faints after it comes out. Why did we name this chapter after it? Probably just to get all the Pokemon listed out as soon as possible. The announcer says, "Platinum Berlitz, the sixth battle of the second set, victory!" But the mechanical Starly pops in saying, "Hey, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be at the Battle Arcade." "Okay, I was wondering." The announcer says, "I just had to come and watch. Besides, I have time since the Battle Arcade is closed." The Starly says, "Closed?" The announcer says, "Dahlia is training again. She just said K. Sarasaran started training. That was her first loss since the facility opened. She must have decided she needs to work on her skills." "K. Sarasara my ass." She's taking this a lot more serious than I would have thought. But suddenly something explodes behind the announcer. Enter Thornton with his weird hand movements. Does he do that in the game too? And his artwork is pointing. Oh, that's weird. Why is there, oh no, there's the sprite work for Thornton. No, he just brings out, is that a camera? Some kind of device. Yeah, no, I'm not getting anything about the constant pointing. Oh well, Thornton says, in other words, that girl is such a formidable opponent that she can make the Frontier brain get serious about their craft. Platinum Berlitz. As Platinum examines another list of Pokemon, I think she still has the Loudred. I see a Slacking, and I think that's Kadabra, or is it Alakazam? As Thornton watches her looking over the Pokemon, she says she's choosing very carefully. The winner is allowed to replace one of their 3 Pokemon with one of their opponent's Pokemon. Trading is a unique feature of the Battle Factory. Platinum says, well then, I'm going to let go of Grimer, and in return I'll take Kadabra from my opponent's rental Pokemon. Ah, okay. Thornton, still doing his hand movement, he just does all these angular movements. Says just participating and fighting in a Pokemon battle isn't enough here. As you fight, you must carefully analyze your opponent's Pokemon's moves, abilities, and items. You need to determine if your opponent has a Pokemon that you might want to use later on during your battle. He then brings out his device, saying, I even invented a machine for that. The most important thing is your knowledge. Interesting. Alright, we pick up in the second set of Battle 7, a total of 14 battles, where Platinum's Quillfish is going up against Porygon. Haven't seen a Porygon in a hot minute. Where Quillfish pulls a Bleach and appears behind Porygon, and Platinum has it use Destiny Bond. Metal Starly says, hooray! While the announcer says she made it through all 7 battles of the second set. So it's obvious Platinum is a little bit exhausted. She thinks to herself, there's one more set until I face this facility's Frontier brain. Is she making faster time than Emerald? My god. Or is she taking as many days? I wonder. Not to mention, there aren't as many Frontier brains here, right? Yeah, there's only 5 compared to the other Frontier. And previously we had 7 Frontier brains, so it made up a whole week. I wonder why they only gave them 5 here. Oh well. We pick up with Palmer and Argenta. As Palmer says, well, I guess we were wrong to suspect Thornton. Argenta says, right, we have Riley to thank for this. Thornton's strange machine isn't the reason behind the malfunction of this communication device. We know we're being jammed, and we have a good idea from where. As a matter of fact, it isn't even in the Frontier area. It's from somewhere far away, somewhere far off to the north. Ah, the mountain. Suddenly, Palmer and Argenta's attention is grabbed by an audience who has gathered and is cheering as Platinum continues to battle and win time after time. They see that she's at the 3rd set of Battle 6, a total of 20 battles. Palmer says she made it, while Argenta says, oh my, even lifting up her glasses. Platinum looks around, thinking, where's Thornton, the Frontier brain? Enter Thornton, who's using his weird device to examine her. Like, Thornton, personal space there, buddy. He says, I see. Well, Platinum says, excuse me? Thornton looks at his device, saying, your final party consists of Loudred, Kadabra, and Quillfish. It's not a bad combination, about 93%. Oh, please ignore the number I just said. The announcer says, Thornton must participate in the final battle using rental Pokemon as well. Which will he choose first? Metal Starly says, battle start. As both Platinum and Thornton bring out their Pokemon. Thornton has this weird wild-eyed expression sometimes. Like in this panel, he's not even looking directly at Platinum. He's looking in a completely different direction. Oh my god. Tyranitar? I can't say I was expecting that. When's the last time we saw a Tyranitar in this friggin' manga? So it's Thornton's Tyranitar against Platinum's Loudred. The announcer says, Tyranitar? That's one of the more powerful Dark-type Pokemon. But Platinum's Loudred starts doing sumo stomps, and of course, it's about to be Stomp. Ooh! And it manages to just make Tyranitar kiss the floor. But Tyranitar's enduring it. Thornton says, "Don't tell me you're trying to win by sheer force. You don't seriously think you can beat Tyranitar and test his strength, do you?" As Tyranitar manages to push Loudred back, but Loudred manages to recover, and it and Tyranitar start going at it. But Thornton wags his finger, saying, Totally pointless." Platinum has Loudred use Roar, but Tyranitar manages to... Oh no! I was about to say it withstood it, but no. It forcibly caused Tyranitar to be recalled, and forced out Thornton's next Pokemon, Ledian? I'm not used to that Pokemon. Ledian. I mean, Ledaba is like, Ledaba for days, but Ledian is just like, ugh. It's not a bad Pokemon, it's just that as appealing as Ladybug. Thornton says, "You forced my Pokemon to switch. Now I'm mad. I'm going to use Confuse on your Pokemon so it can't think straight. Ledian, Supersonic. I could go supersonic. The problem's on it." But this, has no impact on Loudred because sound Pokemon, Thornton says, "Clever. I forgot Loudred's ability is soundproof. They're immune to moves that muse sound." Platinum just grins a wide-eyed smile. That is the most shit-eating grin I have ever seen Platinum have. Thornton obviously vexes. By the way, can you list all the moves that use sound? Platinum, in a very interesting moment, just says, "Yeah, starting with the one I just used, there's Supersonic, Snore, Hyper Voice, Uproar, Growl, Heal, Bell, Screech, Metal Sound, Sing, Shatter, Roar, Growl, Bug Buzz." Bug Buzz? That does sound kind of familiar. And finally, Perish Song, which, oh man, the first time I ever heard that one, it was like, wait, what? Wait, what? Because that sounds so brutal. Thornton is taken aback by the sheer amount of knowledge that she has, which, you think they would get on because they're both know-it-alls. Thornton claps, saying, "Perfect. How did you acquire so much knowledge?" Platinum smiles, a simple smile, saying, "Back home I used to read a dozen books a day." As Loudred and Ladians keep going at it, Thornton says, "Amazing. If you're that educated, then you must know what will happen when you're attacked by a fighting-type move from a Ladian, right?" And Ladian just lays into Loudred. The announcer says, "Focus Punch." And Metal Starly says, "Unable to fight." Platinum says, "Time to switch. Kadabra." Kadabra goes in, but its eyes shine like it did something immediately upon being brought out. I don't know if that's actually something or... Because sometimes they do something sneaky that you gotta go back and be like, wait, what? I didn't even know that was actually it using a move. But Thornton says, "I'll switch too," bringing back out Tyranitar. Platinum has Kadabra use Psycho Cut. Thornton says, "Psychic-type moves are ineffective against a Dark-type Pokemon, and yet the attack smashes into Tyranitar something fierce." Thornton says, "How did you..." Platinum says, "Didn't you notice my Kadabra's eye shining?" "I did." Platinum says, "That was Miracle Eye. It removes a Pokemon's immunity to attacks?" What? That's insane. Dude, that is... What? Is that just a natural ability? Oh no, that's a psychic type move. Yo, that is cool. Oh, and there's a very short list of Pokemon that can use that. My god. Thornton says, "Very clever." As he's obviously taken aback by this. Man, that's why I say, with Platinum in a more straightforward situation, she got the goods. You got two very straightforward people here. If Thornton was a little bit more crafty, he'd have her probably. He'd have a better chance. But it seems like he's just too analytical, but so is Platinum. But Platinum is both analytical and highly adaptable, whereas Thornton, that seems to be his downfall. He's too stat-based. He's not thinking in terms of the long game. That's actually pretty fun. It's always fun to see Platinum really dish out her moves. No wonder there's only, 2.5 volumes of Platinum going through the battle frontier. She barely needs that. Well, let's see if Thornton can bring things around in Adventure 91. Lasting out Ladian. We pick up over at the Battle Castle, where we see Darak just gazing out. Enter the Lady Caitlin, along with oh my god, I'm forgetting the name. Gallade, who is escorting the young lady. Caitlin says, "What's the matter, Duroc? What are you staring at? This isn't like you." Duroc says, "I'm sorry, Lady Caitlin. I was just thinking. I heard that young girl Platinum is facing Thornton at the battle factory at this very moment. She already defeated Dahlia as well. It's incredible." Caitlin says, "It sure is. You can hear the cheering all the way over here. It comes as no surprise that you're interested in their battle." Duroc bows, saying, "I'm sorry." Caitlin says, "To tell you the truth, I admire her as well." Oh. Not just her battle skills as a trainer, but also her determination and zeal. I haven't fought Pokemon battles for quite some time now. I'm getting the urge to battle again. I want to fight that girl. I want to fight. And there it is. As her powers start to grow out of control, she says with an ominous voice, "I want to fight." And Duroc, recoiling, says, "Well, now, my God." Yep, there it is. See, I already knew this about her, but I'd never actually seen it in action, that her psychic abilities could kind of go a little bit haywire. I mean, it's easy to kind of write that off as maybe it's just an ominous orator. Like, no, she has psychic powers. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. She has psychic powers. She about to pull a full-on Sabrina in a moment. That was wild. Shit, I'm actually interested to see her because, considering where she ends up by the next arc. No, not the next arc. The arc after the next one, Black and White. She ends up in a very interesting position. One of the few characters who actually grows and develops so you can actually see where they end up. That's why each game seems to take place like a year or two after the last. And I'm glad they actually acknowledge that. Timeline doesn't go by super fast, but it goes by fast enough. And it was actually interesting to see her powers just kind of growing out of control. Then again, did they probably explain that she has psychic powers here? As Duroc and Gallade try to calm Caitlin down, he says, "Lady Caitlin, it's almost time for your afternoon tea. That flavor scone, what flavor scone would you like? How about blue?" Caitlin, now having calmed down, says, "I want bulkberry scones." Duroc and Gallade bow, Duroc saying, "An excellent choice." As he wipes his brow, he thinks, people tell me I'm like a different person when I'm fighting a Pokemon battle, but what they don't know is that Lady Caitlin is the one we most need to watch out for in battle. Suddenly there's a pinging at a monitor. He says, the facility email. It's from Mr. Palmer. That's odd. It's rare for him to ask me for help. Meanwhile, back at the battle between Platinum and Thornton says, "Wow, not bad. I didn't notice that. You used Miracle Eye. Very clever. But you're not the only one who's up to something sneaky." Oh, yeah, it's Sandstorm, right? As Kadabra starts to be pelted with sand, Platinum says, "Kadabra is getting pummeled, but Tyranitar didn't use any special moves." Oh, I know. Its ability is Sandstream, right? Oh, Sandstream. Interesting. Is that a natural ability? Yeah. It's the signature ability of Tyranitar. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. There's only 5 Pokemon who actually even use that. And most of that is, and 2 of that is just next levels of other Pokemon. Mega Tyranitar, Hippopotas, and Hippowdon. And Gigalith is like the only one who does have another version who uses it. Interesting. Thornton Portosaur saying bingo. Metal Starly says Sandstream. The announcer says Tyranitar automatically summons a Sandstorm during battle. Oh no, he's playing Darude Sandstorm. Can't play that fully for copyright reasons. Thornton says the storm is gradually eroding your Pokemon's stamina. And before you know it, don't you wonder why your Loudred was faster than you expected? Platinum looks to her last remaining Pokemon, saying, "Oh." Thornton says, "Are you going to switch your Pokemon now? It's still going to be under the effect of Sandstorm, you know. Or maybe you didn't realize. Maybe you don't know quite as much as you thought." Oh man, he's getting haughty. Platinum watches as Kadabra continues to be pelted by the Sandstorm. The announcer says, "Platinum's Loudred has already fainted. And she only has 2 rental Pokemon left." Oh yeah, she hasn't even brought out Quillfish. She needs to defeat at least one of Thornton's Pokemon to make it a 2-on-2 battle. Right. Metal Starly says, "What are you going to do, Platinum? Are you going to switch or not?" Platinum says, "No, I won't. and sends in Kadabra, who uses, is that Drill Punch or Dizzy Punch? Oh, dude, just lays into Tyranitar, and Tyranitar goes down. Oh, that was just a normal punch? Huh. The announcer says, she forced Tyranitar down. Middle Starly says, Kadabra's punch defeated Tyranitar. Thornton gets haughty, saying, so, you like to play hardball, do you? He then starts analyzing the situation, saying, maybe I need more information about you. My file on you is only 87% complete. And as he takes pictures, 97, 98, 99, there. I have a complete analysis of you now, Platinum Burlets. There are 13 patterns for me to attack you with, and the best choice is this one. He sends out Ladian, which starts buzzing around Kadabra. Platinum says, Ladian again? She then says, your turn, Quillfish, and has Quillfish use Rollout, which knocks into Ladian. But suddenly Ladian is recalled? Huh. Platinum says, huh? Oh, Ursaring. Thornton says, wondering why I called Ladian back so early, are you? You want to know what my plan is, don't you? Well, it would be my pleasure to show you. And he brings out Ursaring. The announcer says, Thornton's third Pokemon is Ursaring. And Ursaring starts to just shift around Quillfish at intense speeds, too. Middle Starly says, it's so fast. The announcer says, I've never seen an Ursaring move like that before, right? Like, not used to a Pokemon that big moving that fast. Thornton says, Ladian used agility to increase its speed and passed it down to Ursaring with Baton Pass. Ah, Baton Pass. Yep, that would do it. It's actually surprising how good of an ability Baton Pass is. Shoot, it's even used in other RPGs. If you played Persona 5, you know how effective a Baton Pass is. Ursaring then uses Earthquake. It's shaking like an earthquake. Drop that and wake the walls beat. I'm sorry, I'm in a musical mood. And Quillfish, oof. Yeah, Quillfish is out, caught in the fissure of that earthquake, much to Platinum's shock. As she recalls Quillfish, Thornton says, and your Pokemon is out of the game before it can do anything to counteract that speed. He then brings out Ladian, saying, go, Ladian, and it immediately faints. Thornton says, oh, oops. I forgot that Ladian got poisoned when it was attacked by Quillfish. Oh well, right, the poisonous spikes. Natural ability. That's funny. He wasn't paying attention to the status of his Pokemon. Yeah, that would be a poison point. Yeah, as soon as Ladian was hit by the rollout and it made contact, immediately became poison. Yeah, there it is. That's actually kind of cool. You gotta love status effects, natural abilities, and all that. Metal Starly says, which means, yep, it's down to Ursaring and Kadabra. Now they both have only one Pokemon left. Thornton, still analyzing the situation with his device, thinks to himself, Kadabra is already worn out from the battle against Tyranitar. Its moves are Psycho Cut, Miracle Eye, Focus Punch, and so as Kadabra and Ursaring move in on each other, ooh, cross counter! They both strike each other at the same time. And again, and again, oh again, oh again. Sorry, Marvel Rivals. I'm thinking of Bucky using his ult. God damn, this turned into a friggin' boxing manga. The announcer says, I never anticipated this. This battle is, and Millstar says, a hardcore fist fight. Man, even they're shocked by it, as Ursaring and Kadabra are just going at it like they've been beefing for years. Ooh, okay. While it seems that Kadabra hit a light punch on Ursaring, Ursaring manages to deliver a dizzying punch on Kadabra. Kadabra ends up dropping its spoon, and Thornton, with an explosion behind him, does a pose saying, looks like it's over, doesn't it? I win. But Palmer and Argenta appear from the smoke. Palmer saying, I don't know about that. Looks to me like it's the challenger who won. Sorry, Thornton. What? What are you talking about, Palmer? Palmer says, well, certainly the speed and power of the punch is important, but what kind of punch it is even more important, wouldn't you agree? Yeah. Oh, okay. Keeping even just a sliver of stamina is critical if you want to be the last one on your feet and win. So what if that attack wasn't a physical punch? Thornton says, you mean drain punch? As he turns and sees Ursaring go down. Ooh, 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 ooh. And give that Kadabra a prize, because that Kadabra went in it for the money. Like, my God. Little Starling says, all right. While the announcer says she won. While Thornton starts throwing a tantrum saying, no, I won't accept it. I will not accept defeat. I haven't lost. I had a 100% foolproof perfect plan. I knew all about her and her Pokemon. It's not possible for me to lose. Only for Argenta to come up and slap the taste out of his mouth, saying, will you cut it out? Even a ton of knowledge is useless if you don't apply it properly. Thornton says, but it's not possible, I tell you. Argenta turns to Platinum saying, really, little girl, you know what Kadabra's unique power is, don't you? Platinum says, yes. When Kadabra uses its psychic power, it emits strong alpha waves that can interfere with the sensor of precision instruments. I used Kadabra as a rental Pokemon and experienced it myself. Thornton holds up his device saying, well, yes, I know that. Oh, and his device just explodes in his hand. Palmer rubs Thornton's head, saying, give up and hand over the Chimera print, Thornton. At least your little malfunction isn't as bad as ours. We're getting pretty frustrated trying to track down the source of this problem. Platinum asks, what do you mean? Palmer tells her, our communications device has been down for the past several hours, and we've just figured out that the interference is coming from radio waves emitted from some sort of machine that controls Pokemon. It appears to be located at Stark Mountain. I've been told that you're trying to gather information from us frontier brains. I have a question for you myself, if you don't mind me asking. But first, I had better introduce myself. I'm Palmer, the Tower Tycoon. Platinum Berlitz, I've heard that you've been a great help to my son. There it finally is. As he holds out his hand, Platinum says, And then Argenta says, I'm Argenta. Come over here and look out the window. No! Ask about who he's talking about. Because Platinum, yeah, you're a big shot in the region, but oh no, Palmer's got it going on with the Pokemon community. Dang. I guess we'll have to wait a little longer for the reveal, even though I already know what it is. Alright, on to the next chapter, Adventure 92. Dealing with Dragonite. Well, we had to have somebody kind of decide to go in and be a little biscuit about the whole situation. I guess it had to be Thornton. Sorry, Thornton. You lose cool points in my mind. But we have rank 10 Dragon, and Platinum's already taken on Argenta, who throws out a friggin' Dragonite of all things. My God. What is going on? Argenta says, come and get a piece of me. Bring it on, Platinum. Platinum brings out Frostlass. Wait, is that her Frostlass? And why did she look so drained? What the heck did I miss? Palmer is watching the battle when there's a knock at the door of where he's viewing. He says, come in. Enter Durak. Durak says, excuse me. Palmer says, thank you for coming, Durak. I hardly ever see you anymore, not even at the Frontier Brain meetings. Durak says, my apologies. The Battle Castle is an independent facility owned by Lady Caitlin, and I am Caitlin's valet. Please understand that I have many duties to attend to. Palmer says, I do. I'm grateful you made time to come down here today. Durak says, but of course. The fate of the entire battle zone is at stake. Lady Caitlin was deeply shocked after reading the email you sent her. She asked me to prioritize this above everything else. Shoot, that makes me wonder what's going on at the battle zone by the time of Black and White. Knowing that about how everything is run. Durak then takes interest at the monitor where Platinum is battling. He says Platinum is currently facing Argenta. I've been told that she defeated Dahlia and Thornton as well, is that correct? Palmer says yes, she's really something. The battle hall is a facility where you specify which type of Pokemon you want to face for a one-on-one battle. As you know, there are 17 types of Pokemon, for now, and the ranks are from 1 to 10 for each type. There are 17 types times 10 ranks in all, which adds up to 170 battles altogether. My God. In other words, she must fight 169 battles before she may face Argenta. It's an incredible challenge. Lana's been fighting for the past 2 days without sleep. My God. Durak questions, why is she pushing herself so much? Palmer says, well, 2 days ago, right after the battle in which she defeated Thornton, Argenta says, come over here and look out the window. Platinum says, oh, and as Argenta points out, Platinum sees Pachirisu, Frostlass, and Cherim, all pretty injured. Argenta says, I noticed them a moment ago, but I've been thinking they've been staring at us all this time. Aren't these your Pokemon? Platinum says, yes. I sent them to Stark Mountain, but they've returned. As she makes her way out, she says, what happened to you? And Frostlass and the others bring them over to a very injured Empoleon, Rapidash, and Lopunny, with an injured Looker and Buck on top of Rapidash. My God. I'm glad they got him out there. I was kind of worried when I only saw 3 of her Pokemon. I'm like, what happened to the rest? And these Pokemon, shoo. Man, big ups to these Pokemon, I gotta tell you. Like, these Pokemon work hard. As Platinum calls out to Looker and Buck, we cut back to the present. Palmer says, Argent and I just figured out the source of the radio waves from the machine on Stark Tower. Rock says, Buck from the battleground and Looker, the international police investigator. Where are they now? Palmer cuts to another channel where you observe Buck and Looker, with Buck being overlooked by a few of the other stat trainers, namely Cheryl, Marley, and Mira. Palmer says they're still unconscious. They must have had a very strenuous battle. They're at the Battle Frontier First Aid Center. Jeez. Oh, man. Oh, God. Buck is in bad shape. Man, there are so many people laid up in the hospital now. Like, between the gym leaders and them. Like, my God. Mira is crying with tears in her eyes. Buck, wake up, Buck. Cheryl says, Mira, you mustn't raise your voice. While Marley looks on with a very stern look in her eyes. Dang, I mean, I wanted them to get involved, but they're about to come guns a-blazing. This is not kosher. Cheryl says the best we can do is let him rest for now. While Mira calls out to Marley, and Marley says, Cheryl's right, but I'm not going to let it end like this. As she brings up a letter from Professor Oak. Meanwhile, with Palmer and Brock, Palmer says, what happened at Stark Mountain? Platinum's Pokemon know, but they can't tell us. Where's Riley? He should be able to. Palmer says, we'll have to wait for Looker and Buck to wake up before we can proceed. Brock says, I see. I spoke with Buck before he went down into the mountain. He was talking about facing Team Galactic. He said they were intent on capturing Heatran. Palmer says, so that's why Platinum is doing this. He thinks to himself, since all she can do is wait at the moment, she's spending her downtime honing her skills. She's preparing for the upcoming battle. Brock says, so that's why she challenged Argenta. Meanwhile, at the battle, Platinum has Frostlass use Ice Shard against Dragonite, which does some serious damage. Argenta smiles, saying, you must have thought using your Frostlass would give you an advantage over a Dragon-type Pokemon, but don't think you'll be able to defeat a rank 10 Pokemon just because you have a type advantage over it. Man, I really do not recall some typing. Dragonite's weak to ice types? Dragon flying? Yeah. Oh, a big weak. Big weak to ice. My God. Why do I never remember that? Platinum thinks to herself, Frostlass, the first time I met you at Snow Point Gym, you were my enemy, remember? You were Candace's Pokemon and a formidable opponent. Later on, she handed you over to me, and we became a team. I know your ability, nature, moves, attack, defense, speed, everything about you. But I feel that only now, after fighting 169 battles at the Battle Hall, have I truly come to understand you. Our opponent might be a Dragon-type Pokemon, but it's a rank 10 Dragonite. You can still defeat it, though, can't you? I know you can. Dragonite goes in with Steel Wing, which, that should be big. Yeah, Steel. See, that one I know. As Frostlass goes down, Argenta says super effective. This is the strength of a rank 10 Pokemon. But then she says, wait. As Frostlass rises, Argenta in shock says, that Steel Wing was my trump card. I can't believe it didn't knock Frostlass out. And Frostlass once again uses Ice Shard, downing Dragonite. Argenta says, I see. You had it on you, didn't you? The berry that housed the damage of super effective moves. The Barberry Berry. Yep, sure enough. Good stuff. Palmer stands in disbelief, saying, she defeated another Frontier Brain? Rock says, Mr. Palmer, shall we get down to business now? Palmer says, all right. Right. Rock explains, the castle has existed on this ground since ancient times. Oh, the battle castle is that old? Okay. Well, I mean, it's just like the other Battle Frontier, built around a place that seems a lot older than everything else around it. We have a huge library, and I did some research on the subject myself after Platinum asked me about it. Palmer questions, did you find it? Rock brings out a torn-up piece of paper, saying right here. Palmer says, well now, so we see a hazy image of Giratina. But Platinum has gotten yet another print. Man, she is speed running. As she, as she and Frostlash motion to the crowd cheering her on, and she goes backstage to a clapping Argenta. Oh no, clapping Palmer. I saw gloves and thought it was Argenta. Palmer says, congratulations on your victory. Platinum calls out to Palmer. As Palmer says, you managed to bring down 4 facilities in such a short time. Your skills are incredible. Platinum gives a bow, saying thank you very much. Palmer then says, you made a decision and stuck to it. You are determined to find the way to the distortion world. That's why you're honing your skills, right? Platinum smiles, saying it is. Palmer then says thoughtfully, a determined look in your eyes, I can understand why all those trainers wanted to help you. Come with me, and we head over to the battle tower. Right? That's the battle tower, right? All places have a battle tower. Yep, that's the battle tower. The battle tower. Where we see Riley, Duraz, and Thornton, with Thornton fiddling around with the Team Galactic drone. Platinum says, Thornton, Duraz, and did she never met Riley? Oh my god. Yeah, I guess they never would have met. Palmer explains, this is Riley from Iron Island. He helped pinpoint the interference with his aura reading skills. Thornton is attempting to fix Team Galactic's surveillance machine, which Riley got a hold of, and Rock searched through the mountain of books in the castle library for information about the distortion world. They were all touched by your passion and volunteered to help. As you know, the Battle Frontier has been experiencing some trouble with its communication devices lately. It's been getting worse these past 2 days. Thornton then adds, it's not just that. The Battle Frontier is completely isolated from the outside world now. Of course. It's what every villain does. Platinum says, it's that bad? Palmer says, yes. We can't communicate with each other at all. Not even from one facility to the next. We're not getting any response when we hail the Sinnoh mainland. Nor can we access the Pokemon storage system. That's even worse. Thornton says, I won't allow this to happen on my watch. It's an outrage. Might not be able to solve this alone, but I know we can do something about it together. I just need a little more time here. Platinum smiles, saying, how wonderful. This warm feeling, like when the 3 of us were a team. Palmer says, I didn't have the chance to tell you the other day, but my son is. Platinum says, I know. You reminded me of my good friend. When I saw you on the screen at Dahlia's place, and what you said. Palmer, you're Pearl's father, aren't you? Oh, oof. That gave me the warm fuzzies right there. He didn't even have to be told. Oh man, I don't know what it is. There is something about her character that I did not think I was gonna love when I found out she was, some preppy girl from some rich family, but there is such a sweet earnestness to her character that is absolutely adorable, that I adore. That's what I meant. Palmer says, I see. So you know, Riley's the one who told me about you. Riley's a good friend with Byron, and he knows all about your journey. He also happened to be the one who trained Dia. Platinum says, oh, I didn't know that. Palmer then says, I myself have been apart from my family for many years. I was too preoccupied with my own Pokemon training. I didn't even know that my son was on the front lines of such a dangerous battle until Riley told me about it. I'm a terrible father to Pearl. Platinum says, Pearl talks about you all the time. He told me how he inherited the skills of intuition that kind of move a he inherited the skill of intuiting. Oh, man, I've never heard it used that way. What kind of moves a Pokemon is going to use by observing their posture. He's very proud of you. I didn't hone my skills alone. I had Pearl to help me. He was always there for me. Aw, and Palmer blushes. Oh, that is cute. That is cute. A very different relationship from Ruby and his dad. Palmer, obviously embarrassed and trying to switch the subject, says, so, Thornton, think you can fix it? Thornton says, of course, I'm almost done. Aw. That was absolutely beautiful. Whoa, that is, because of the Pokemon it is. Okay. I was wondering, why are there so many Pokemon there? All right, and we are on the last chapter of this volume and this video. In adventure number 93, Unplugging Rotom, Heat, Wash, Mow, Fan, and Frost. the various different forms of Rotom. And that always gets me about Rotom, because even here, there was a time, I remember when Rotom was first introduced, there was kind of this thing where it was kind of treated like a legendary Pokemon. And it's even been referred to in some cases like it was a legendary Pokemon, even though it isn't. And shoot, by the time you get to the where we are currently in terms of the games and series as a whole, Rotoms are everywhere. Pretty much everyone has a Rotom. But I don't know, I kept thinking maybe there was something they wanted to do with Rotom at one point. Because Rotom was like this big deal initially. And then it was kind of treated a little bit more mundane as things went along. But I don't know. If you know anything about the status of Rotom and why it seemed like it went from being this minor thing from a major thing to a more minor and mundane thing, and yet a very necessary thing for pretty much everything. Because you got the Rotom phones and the Rotom dexes and all that good stuff. I don't know. There's like something triggered in the game creators' minds that just wanted them to just use Rotom for so many different things, and Rotom just went along with it. And I was never certain if it's just like, do you actually have Rotom as a Pokemon? Or is it just this additional thing that you have? Kind of like the ride Pokemon in some game. I don't know. But like, Rotom's just this automatic Pokemon you have nowadays. You don't battle with it or anything, you just use it as a utility, which the Rotoms seem to be down with, so there you go. It's one of the few Pokemon that can technically talk to you too? Oh, we pick up on Route 205. With Diamond Pearl, the Pokemon Association chairman, as well as Dr. Footsteps. The chairman says, "Alrighty then. The real reason I formed this oddly dressed trio with you," well, Pearl calls out, "We're not a trio. What's wrong with our clothes?" The chairman says, "Well, to begin with," only to be interrupted by Dr. Footsteps, who says, "Got it. Hooray, wonderful. One big footprint." Platinum says, "Great, we should get going." The chairman asks, "Why is he coming with us?" Well, Diamond says, "I asked him to, because of this," as he shows off. Oh my god. Regigigas. Oh god, even the image is too big. This image is so big. The chairman says, could it be? Regigigas? Diamond says, "I named him Reg." "Hey, Reg. Lady said it sneaked into her bag at Snowpoint Temple. It helped us win our final battle at the Sphere Pillar, but after that, it locked itself inside this Pokeball and it won't come out." Okay, I did wonder about that, because it's just like, does Diamond just regularly have a Regigigas at his disposal for any time he wants to use it? It's like, no, it's a legendary Pokemon. Of course he doesn't. Unlike the games where legendary Pokemon, you have that. It's just like, nope, it's yours to command. Go nuts. Here in the manga, it's like, no, you only use the legendary Pokemon when the legendary Pokemon wants you to use it. That's how this works here. Diamond says, "I don't get it. But there's one person who will, and that's Dr. Footstep. I wanted him to figure out what Reggie is feeling by studying its footprint when it finally comes out of the Pokeball." The chairman says, "I see." Pearl then says, "So why are you really here?" The chairman says, "Right, about that. It's because of the legendary Pokemon of the Sinnoh region mentioned in Charon's notes. Heatran, Cresselia, Darkrai, Manaphy, Shaman, and Rotom." See, there it is again, freaking Rotom! Also, that Manaphy egg from the Pokemon Rangers manga I checked out a while ago, that has yet to come back into play. And I'm pretty sure I was told it would. I was thinking, if it were possible to visit each one of them, we could protect them or move them out of Charon's reach. I was wondering if you two would help me with that. Dr. Footsteps says, "Wow, I get to collect so many rare footprints." "Oh, you lucky son of a so-and-so." Pearl says, "Actually, Professor Rowan already asked us to do him a favor." Diamond says, "We're on the way to investigate Rotom." Pearl says, "Turns out we've met Rotom before." The chairman says, "What? Really?" Just being shocked by these children. I feel like that's most Pokemon games. It's like, what? These children have come in with contact with ancient eldritch beings? How? They show off the notebook with Pearl saying, "After the battle at the Sphere Pillar, I read the page on Charon's notebook, as well as the report from the Elite Four. They all mentioned Eternia Forest, the old chateau, and Plasma. So I have a hunch." Dr. Footsteps looks at the page saying, "How's that going?" "Oh, Rotom doesn't have feet." Diamond says, huh? Why not? Footsteps says, I don't think I can get a footprint from Rotom, so I'll wait here. Yeah, Rotom has no feet. It has no feet. I mean, in most situations, depending on the version of Rotom you get, it both does and does not have footprint. No, it has no registered footprint. So yeah, Dr. Footsteps is like, yeah, nah, I'm out. The chairman then drags along Diamond and Pearl saying, okay, then the Ollie Death Trio will. Pearl says, just a second, Chairman. Dia and I will go and investigate Rotom by ourselves. After all, we're the ones who were asked to do it, and I bet Rotom will feel more comfortable with just us since we've met before. The chairman says, I see. Well then, at least take the chair on notes with you. And Diamond and Pearl set off, waving to Dr. Footsteps and the chairman. Oh, and thus we pick up at the edge of the Eternia Forest at the old chateau. Diamond, chowing down on some rice balls. I swear, this jacket makes him look bigger than he actually is. Diamond says, this place still gives me the creeps, Pearl. Like Scoob? Pearl says, yeah, to be honest, I'm feeling pretty jittery myself. It's supposed to be haunted, but really it's just Rotom, a mysterious plasma Pokemon who moves from one electrical appliance to another. Now we can finally check out Rotom once and for all. Thank God! It's a plot point that was gnawing at me. It's just like, we had the Luxray. Is Rotom not coming back into play? Here it is. As they enter into the old chateau, Diamond says, but if Rotom remembers us, we won't be able to use the same trick as last time. Pearl says, hey, you're the one who blabbed to Professor Rowan. Cut to them at the same gem town after the final battle at the Spear Pillar. Rowan says, so Rotom lives inside the television, and you figured out that it would return to that TV, and you even managed to calm it down. I would like you to show me more of your clever ideas. Diamond says, okay. And Pearl says, what? Diamond says, I did say that. Pearl says, you did. Diamond says, at any rate, why didn't we come here during the day? As a whole bunch of ghastly just start coming all through. Oh, and even licking at the back of Diamond's neck. Oh, God. One even drops down on Pearl. Oh, you guys are easy bait for the ghastly. Pearl says, we don't have a choice. Rotom only appears at night, and only between 8 in the evening and sunup. As they make their way to a door, Pearl says, the TV in this room was its lair, right? Let's open the door. Ready? As they peek in, yep, Rotom's just already there, just still chilling on the TV. Diamond says, found it, while Chatot says, found it, what? As Pearl looks through the notes, he says, yes, it's just like the Pokédex says. Rotom can enter machines because his body is composed of plasma. Okay, come out wherever you are. See, they say Pokédex, but it's just Charon's notes, right? Rotom, plasma Pokemon, electric ghost. That's only 1 foot tall, huh? Its electric-like body can enter some kinds of machines and take control in order to make mischief. Rotom makes its way out, zooming out the door, making its way past Diamond and Pearl. Pearl commands his Diglett, saying Diglett, earthquake, while Diamond commands his Licky, saying Kit, slam, but ghost type, you know? It doesn't affect it. Actually, it is a ghost type, right? It does have the electric stuff, but yeah, no. Basic Rotom is ghost type, so a lot of that I don't think would affect it. Yeah, in just regular forms, it's immune to ground and fighting, which were those 2 attacks. Yeah, you gotta hit it with a darker ghost, or if you just want to do normal damage, rock, fire, water, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, fairy. It has enough regular weaknesses that she can tie into. You just managed to pick the 2 types, the 2 of the 3 things it's completely immune to. Sucks to suck. Pearl says, huh? It has an electric body, so I was positive a ground move would do the trick. Now I get it. Its ability is levitate. It's pointless to shake the ground when fighting a floating opponent. It's an electric and ghost type Pokemon. No wonder Kit's moved in effect don't have any effect on it, Diamond says. Then Rotom turns to them and shocks the bejesus out of them. Mischievous little imp. It makes its way out the window. As Pearl says, it escaped. And it makes its way towards the city. Pearl uses his binoculars to see where it's going. He says it entered a building in Eternia City. Let's go after it, Dia. Diamond still woos. He says, okay. Oh, He then checks his pocket, saying, "What's this?" It reads, "Secret key." Why does he have that? Some kind of special item? Did Rotom slip it into his pocket? Pearl says, "I guess that means it's a secret key, right? It's got Eternia City written on it, too." Does it? Diamond says, "Maybe it has something to do with the building Rotom went into." Pearl says, "Huh. At any rate, let's head down there." Oh, man, it's been a while since we had this. Pearl says, "Speaking of Pokemon." Diamond says, "Speaking of Pokemon." Pearl says, "We travel day and night, don't we?" Diamond says, "That we do." Pearl says, "Some Pokemon you can only meet at night, so it's okay to stay up all night looking for them, right?" Diamond says, That's night, Pearl, but it night wear you out." Oh god, that's terrible. Pearl says, "Yeah, if I stay up all night, I'm sleepy the next morning." Diamond says, "I know I am." Pearl then says, "And I feel really beat all day." Diamond says, "Like a Pinsir." Pearl says, You mean because Pinsir is a stag beetle Pokemon? Nice try. Horrible pun. What is this place? Oh, it's the Galactic Eternia building. Pearl says, "I was hoping a little comedy would help us relax." Diamond says, "Very little. I still feel uncomfortable going into this building after all. It belongs to Team Galactic." But they're not in it anymore, right? Hey, this isn't the same place you were previously during that big showdown, is it? No way. No, it's a different location. Okay. Diamond says, "But Rotom loves robot cartoons as much as I do, so I'm going to be brave. There are other reasons why Pearl says, "There are other reasons why you should be brave. There's a lot at stake. The Sinnoh region is in grave danger at the moment, you know." And it says, "Go on, let's go." And as Pearl quickly makes his way from corner to corner, Diamond is pulling up the rear saying, "Wait for me, Pearl." Pearl says, "Don't make so much noise." As he's suddenly shocked in the back. Oh, well, he's almost shocked. Diamond says, "There he is," pointing out a chuckling Rotom. "Little jerk." Diamond calls out, "Wait," as they chase behind it. Oh, you can barely make that out. Diamond says, "It says secret room." "It's a secret room, Pearl. And a secret room needs," Pearl says, "a secret key." And as he puts the key in, he's zapped. Says, "Whoa." Diamond says, "Are you okay, Pearl?" Pearl says, "Yeah, I just felt an electric current or something run through me." But suddenly the door opens. Diamond says, "It opened." Oh, yeah, there it is. All the appliances. As we see a lawnmower, a washing machine, a fridge, a fan, and an oven. What could they be used for? Pearl looks around saying, "What is this place? A lawnmower, a washing machine, a refrigerator, electric fan?" Diamond says, "And a microwave, too. It's like an electric appliance store. And they all have strangely shaped motor attached to them. I wonder what these are." And suddenly Rotom comes. Diamond spots Rotom up on the ceiling as it dives into the washing machine. They call out, "It went into the washing machine." And suddenly, it's now a Rotom washing machine. Wash Rotom. There we go. Diamond says, "It's starting to move." As Rotom points one of its hoses at them and hoses them down. Diamond says, "I'm drenched." Pearl says, "That was Hydro Pump. Rotom didn't use a move like that back at the old chateau." Diamond says, "Maybe you able to use it because it turned into a washing machine." Pearl says, "That makes sense. At least this is going to be a whole lot easier now that it's a water type. Do you get true out and..." But then it leaves the washing machine. They say, "Oh." Pearl examines the washing machine, saying it turned back into an ordinary washing machine. Only for suddenly the heat is on. As they turn, Pearl says, "Ouch." Diamond says, this time it's a microwave," as they're loomed over from behind by Heat Rotom. Oh, and they dodge out of the way of Rotom's overheat. Pearl says, I've got idea. I figured out why Rotom is a special Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, it's more special than legendary. Rotom's body is made out of plasma, so it can enter all kinds of electrical appliances. Then, after it enters a machine, its ability to use a move that characterizes that machine. It's pointless to strategize about what type of Pokemon we should use against it, since its type is always changing. Next, it goes into a fan. Pearl says it entered the fan, as it's now Fan Rotom. And as it gets ready to rev up, Diamond says, so let's see. The washing machine was a water type. The microwave was a fire type, so Pearl says, Air Slash! As Rotom blows them away, Diamond says, Flying type! They're knocked into Torterra and knocked through the friggin' wall of the building. My god. Only cushioned because Torterra grabs them. Well, Diamond is a little woozy. Pearl says, Dia, take a look at the notebook. When it merges with the electric fan, it's called a Fan Rotom. And if this was already in the other entries, y'all should know this. Like, read more than just the one page, guys. Pearl says, you're right, there's a name for each of them. Fan rotom and heat rotom when it enters a microwave. It's wash rotom when it's a washing machine. As they turn to the hole, we see frost rotom as it's entered a refrigerator. Pearl says it merged with the refrigerator. Diamond says, and now it's a frost rotom. Pearl says, true, razor leaf. But as its supersonic leaf is sent out, it freezes instantly and just breaks apart. Diamond says, it's no good. Rotom then exits the refrigerator and heads into the lawnmower, becoming Mow Rotom. Pearl says, the lawnmower, it's Mow Rotom. It's a grass type now as they run away from the Rotom, slashing through tree after tree. Pearl says, darn. Is there no way to defeat it, or at least stop it from going berserk and calm it down? But then Pearl realizes something, saying, I know, we've already done it once. The television that Rotom lives in. Let's lure Rotom into the television and deal some damage to it there, like you did before. Dia, I have an idea. Hold on until I get back, as he brings out Taurus. Diamond says, I don't know what you're planning, but okay. And Pearl calls back, hold on, Dia, as he heads off. Later, he makes his way back with Taurus carrying something. Pearl saying, Dia, I brought the TV from the old chateau. We can use it to... Oh, what the heck? He comes back to Diamond on his skivvies with his clothes out on a line, with his face drawn into the lawn, just chilling with Rotom. Is Rotom all tuckered out now? Pearl goes over to Diamond saying, hey, wake up, Dia. Diamond says, huh? Pearl says, don't you harm me. How come you're napping with Rotom? Where did your shirt and pants go? Diamond says, oh, hi, Pearl. I don't think Rotom was challenging us to a Pokemon battle after all. Mow Rotom stopped all of a sudden after running around for a while with me on its back. It seemed like it wanted to show me something, so I looked closely and noticed it had mowed the lawn in the shape of my face. That's when I started thinking, maybe Rotom brought us here to show off its powers. So I asked Rotom to do all kinds of stuff for me, and it was totally into it. It had grilled berries for me, made me ice cream, and even washed my clothes and dried my clothes. Dang. The immediate benefits of Rotom. Shoot, this is how it begins. Next thing you know, Rotom's in your Pokedex. Pearl says, so now it's happy? Rotom wakes up as Diamond says, I think so. Pearl thinks to himself, there sure are a lot of unique Pokemon in the world, but only Dia could fulfill this one's wishes so well, right? It just wants to take care of people. Pearl says, way to go, Dia. Diamond says, well, I could only pull this off because the Elite Four deciphered Sharon's notebook for us. Thanks to them, we were able to figure out the secret behind Rotom's transformation. Pearl then says, well then, the problem now is what do we do next? I'm sure Charon is going to try to capture Rotom. Diamond says, right. He's super strong, so I don't think you'll lose a battle against him. But you have to be careful not to let bad people trick you into using you for evil, okay? Pearl says, see ya. Diamond says, bye. And Rotom seems to be a little bit forlorn as it just pops up in front of them. Diamond says, what, you want to come with us? Rotom nods. Diamond turns, saying, Pearl? Pearl says, sure, let's go, Rotom. And they head off. Only for now we pick up with Marley, who's made her way to, a lake with her Arcanine. And off in the distance, we see a hole that leads to the Distortion World. And we see two familiar figures, which seem to tell me something that a lot of people pondered. Can you survive in the Distortion World? Yes, you can. As Taka says, you hear me, bro? Uji says, yeah. Taka says, I wonder how long it's been. Uji says, no. I can't tell how many days pass. Whether it's day or night, which way is up or down. Taka says, are we even alive? No, it's... Uji says, are we even alive? Well, Taka says, are we dead? Suddenly, there's a roar. Uji calls out to Taka. And Taka says, Uji, over here. As they make their way to each other, Taka says, the one thing we do know. Uji says, is that ever since we got sucked into this weird world, we've been hiding in the shadows from that. As they see Giratina pass by, Taka says, the only living creature in this world, the king of this world, that huge Pokemon. Oh, what's it doing now? As we see something below where Giratina's flying over, we see a Frozen statue of the Amalgam statue of Dialga and Palkia. Taka says, I can see something on the other side of that hole. Uji says, yeah, that's the statue at Eternia City. And as Giratina makes its way through the hole to Eternia, it goes for the statue, reforms, and crashes into it, taking the place of the statue. Why? So it's now in Eternia City where, isn't that literally where Diamond and Pearl just were? But why? Why would it do that? That's ominous. Oh, okay. Our heroes have managed to get Rotom on their side, which I guess is a plus. Platinum has managed to defeat most of the Frontier Brains. Just has Palmer left to go. Taka and AG are still alive and well, which, that kind of spells any thoughts I've ever had of whether or not Cyrus ends up okay in the distortion world. Although I'm pretty sure we've seen, wasn't that in one episode of Generations or Evolution where we saw that Cyrus is just chilling? I guess you don't really need food or water in the distortion world, and where would you even get it from? If you can't really tell how much time has passed, how would you even know if you're hungry? But I wonder why it went to Eternia City. I guess there would be some places where the passage between the real world and the distortion world are at their weakest. So honestly, Cyrus might be able to get out at any time, if he even wants to. Hard to say. But one legendary Pokemon down, well, two of them, well, not even that. You have Rotom, Regigigas, Heatran, Giratina. Where did Dialga and Palkia end up? And I wonder, what about the Lake Guardians? I mean, would they even come back into the story? Oh, there's a lot left to kind of take care of in that last volume. But I guess we'll see. I guess we kind of stopped caring about Platinum competing in more Pokemon contests, but we'll see how things go. Things are kind of winding down, but it doesn't seem like Team Galactic really has too much on their side right now. The real problem feels like it's going to be Giratina, but how do you stop that? We'll just have to see. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.